welcome. So my title here is Saved by the Bell Tries. That's my claim, and that means that measles or coronavirus saved us from the plague caused by antibiotic resistant strain 3 times. First time in 2013 when an outbreak occurred which presented antibiotic resistance. So the claim is that MERS saved from the plague that was not treatable by antibiotics anymore, or at least there were cases, by priming the herd against the plague by increasing the innate immunity. So this is an article, Oxford, it's about background pneumatic plague, which is PP, pneumatic plague, Yersinia pestis, outbreak in Madagascar, strain resistant to streptomycin, the current recommended first-line treatment in Madagascar. It's quite capable. It's the same antibiotics for instance, in Congo, Central African Republic, and other countries susceptible for plague and pneumonic plague. I think we discussed it already. Resistant to streptomycin, resulting from a spontaneous point mutation in the 30S ribosomal protein S12 gene. The same mutation, this is not the first one, caused 2 unrelated Yersinia pestis plague strains, also antibiotic resistance, one isolated from a fatal PP case, pneumonic plague case in a different region in Madagascar in 1987, and another isolated case from fatal PP in China. You see how different or how far away this can take place. Madagascar and China, well, it's quite a bit apart. So this mutation that causes resistance against antibiotic, in fact against the main antibiotics and 6 to 8 others antibiotics, 6 to 8, happened independently at least 3 times in the plague, in pneumonic plague epidemics. So this is quite serious, and that's why I say saved by the bell 3 times. Okay, measles virus. So the measles virus plays a role in priming, and so it is called by plague or cholera. It's called by threats to humanity worldwide, and we know that in 2019 COVID was called, but it looks that in the United States that only received COVID in 2020. That's what I remember. But in 2019 saw measles cases while it was supposed to be extinct. It was the most in more than 20 years. Other countries have fared much worse, so called much more measles, even while still a part of the population must have had resistance because of vaccination programs, mass vaccinations in years or decades before. So Samoa has reported 5,500 cases and deaths. That is from measles. It was there. The call was answered as well by measles because it didn't have had COVID yet. It was before COVID reached Samoa. And worldwide, in the first 3 months of 2019, that is clearly before COVID reached the world, measles cases worldwide rose by 300%, with children the primary victims. China was gaining, let's say, gaining victory over measles, and it had mass vaccinations, so it has reduced its number of cases. So there's a working vaccination, effective vaccination, so measles cannot develop, so the herd cannot call it to prime and clean against plague or cholera. So only COVID was left to be called, because China had a very effective vaccination program against measles. Measles couldn't be called, so only the more radical coronavirus was an option. Probably SARS and MERS weren't the best options, so it was a new coronavirus. And it doesn't matter if that new coronavirus was picked up in nature, in wild animals or domesticated animals, or even in a lab escape. It doesn't matter. It picked it up and it used it to prime against plague that had become resistant, and Ebola that had come resistant or presented resistance against antibiotics until a certain degree. So here's another association, same thing, plague in 2002 to 2005. I will show you a report from, here is the report, this is from World Health Organization, and this is plague in the world, made this map by World Health Organization, 2002-2005, so it affects all these countries. So there was a plague worldwide between 2002-2005, and it was when SARS appeared, so we're going back in time. It's another example of a coronavirus, in this case SARS, prime the herd against the plague that was occurring. There was plague long before, and in that cases the plague back then was solved by destruction of the house, amongst others, destruction or disinfection of clothing, isolation of the patient, and even destruction of the house with a recompense. But this is a story on its own. There was another possible primer in 2012, because in 2011 we had Ebola, which is a caller, which is a threat, And the West Nile virus is a virus, and a virus is able to respond, to prime, to clean, like measles is a virus, coronavirus like SARS, MERS and COVID are viruses, and West Nile virus is a virus too, so they can respond to a call and do the clearing and the priming. Influenza is a virus, it can do clearing and priming, it can be cold. Cholera is not, cholera is a threat and it makes a call, it calls a virus. And well, the cholera is transmitted for camels, and we know that exactly from these camels and from the country where the cholera took place that MERS appeared, so it's a quite extreme association. So cholera, threats, appears in camels in certain countries like Saudi Arabia, and exactly there first MERS appears before it spreads all over the world. I'm not sure if I can find it. MERS. Here it's called because there is cholera, a threat with antibiotic resistance in Saudi Arabia, and then in the same camels that cause the threat, the prime comes up, and it's MERS. This is extreme coincidences. So we will go on with examples and proofs, but we went back in time. It's quite illustrating, I think, because of the extreme associations that are fulfilled. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.